Hello everyone, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm going to start a little series with you for fun, and what I'm going to do is I'm calling it speed roses. So one of the things that I like to do in order to practice my roses and to keep them from getting too stiff is to try and do them quickly. And I'm going to put a link up in the corner to a 30-day rose challenge that my mentor did during the 2020, and each rose in that challenge was about 30 minutes, and it was a really good lesson for me on how to speed up your roses so that they don't get stiff. So I'm going to post a link to that, and I recommend that everybody check that out. It was a really fun exercise, 30 days, 30 roses. But I'm going to do what I call speed roses. So I'm going to start with a 20-minute rose, then I'm going to do a 15-minute rose, then a 10-minute rose, and then I'm going to see what I can do in 5 minutes. So I'm going to set an alarm for myself. I'll probably end up posting these over the course of a few weeks here, one video a week sort of thing. But I just wanted to let you know that that's what was coming. So this should be fun. So let's go on down to my table and see what I can do in 20 minutes. Okay, everyone, we're down at my table here, and I'm going to just show you what I'm going to be using today. So for my brushes, I put out my 3/4 inch Fusion flat, and I decided I would use a number 8 flat today for these roses because I'm using fairly small boards. For my paint, I have my Heritage paints again. I have my Hansa yellow, my yellow oxide, naphthol red light, pine green, burnt sienna, phthalo blue. I have my red violet and my quinacridone violet and some white. For my boards today, I'm just using these little extra boards I had. When I get my boards cut, I buy a big 1/8 inch sheet of MDF that's like 4 feet by 8 feet, and I get it cut into the sizes I want, and there's always some little pieces left over. So I just base coat those and use them for practice. So that's what this is. I've got 4 of them because I'm going to do 20-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute, and then 5-minute rows. So I've got those set up here, and I have my water. I have my timer ready to go with my first 20 minutes. And let's have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to start with one of these bigger boards. All right. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes, and I'm going to start painting, and I will try and talk to you as I go. Hopefully I won't get too distracted by the timer, and we'll see how this goes. I've never done this before, so it'll be fun. All right, here we go. Start. Okay, so I still want to put in a bit of a background on this. I thought what might look nice is maybe a little bit of purple. I'm going to do some nice purple in the background. Just do a nice cross, maybe some lines going out like this. A little bit darker over here. You can play a little more with the background because this is a 20-minute rose, so got a little bit more time than I would with the other one. Just put a streak of that through there. That looks kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to do a yellow rose on this one, I think. So I'm just going to take some of this, maybe a little bit of this. Still using my big brush here. Put in a little bit of red violet. I just kind of want a basic color for that. And I'm going to have this little guy come in here like this. I want a nice big rose. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of my violet, and I'm going to have it opening up this way. Put in some shadow over here on this rose. Now I'm going to go down to my smaller brush here. Okay, so if I'm going to do a yellow rose, let's just clean that off a little bit. I'm going to start with a little bit of this. Mix my two yellows a little bit. I want it to be a fairly nice darker yellow to start with. Cut across the center there. Put quite a bit here. Want that to be nice and thick. Just throwing in a few petals at the beginning here. Bring in a few reaching petals. Start moving to this side, I might add in a little bit of my quinacridone just to have that kind of fade off there. Now I want to put some nice warm yellow over here. Just keep that really nice and warm there. Gonna add a little bit more white to that. Get a really good front petal there. We're down to 15 minutes. Now I feel like I want to make my center a little deeper in here. A little darker violet over here in my shadows. Some of that out of there. Moving fairly quickly because I'm on a timer. And one thing that this will definitely do is it will teach you to be fast. You won't be able to play with your roses as much. Add a little bit of light back here. And go in here and bring in another one. Add some texture to that front there. Cut another across there. Looks quite pretty. We want to go with a little bit more yellow here. Keep that nice and warm there. Make that petal a little nicer. And then I'm going to come in with my yellow and I'm going to do a little petal edging right here. Let's do a little bit right here too. Yeah, I'm going to come in with a little bit of green and violet, a little bit of burnt sienna in there. Get some dark around this rose. Kind of want that to still disappear though into there. And I'm gonna give myself a stem. Down to 10 minutes. Add a few sparks of color in there. Let's go a little bit lighter green for this side. Put in a couple more nice leaves. I'm going to come in with a little bit of dark right at the rose there just to have it come off a bit more. Change up that color a little bit. Put a little bit of that on here maybe. Put a brighter leaf right there. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to go back in and take some of this and just stick some back in here. Maybe the impression of some more roses back in there. Just dancing that brush across there. Now I'm going to go back in. One thing to keep in mind is that when you add white to your nice hansa yellow there, you do tend to, it will take the intensity of the hansa down. So just keep that in mind. So if you want to have like that real intense yellow, you have to not add white to it. some of this here with a little bit of the quinacridone in it. Maybe not quite as intense. We'll throw some of that in there. For this side of my rose, I'm going to kind of have that come out a little bit more there. You definitely get a lot more done in 20 minutes than you think you can, because I'm at 6.5 minutes here and it's starting to look pretty nice. Just going to bring in a little bit more of that yellow onto this side here. I caught that green, but that's all right. We'll come back in with some more yellow. You'll notice that as I go and do this, the roses will probably get a little less elaborate as my time decreases. See, this here, what I'm doing is called petal edging. I take a dip of the corner of my brush into that, and then I edge the petal, and then I bring it back down. And that puts that fancy little edge on it. Let's do one across here. Put a little bit of petals down there. A little bit of this darker color back in here. You'll notice I talk less when I'm speed painting. I'll put a little bit more yellow in here because this has gotten quite orange on this side. Making sure I keep that shadow and push it up in there. Come back in with a little bit more of this here and go back over some of that. Making sure that where the sun hits it, it's got some nice light to it. And I think I want to have a nice, really light petal right across here. Put that in there. That's looking pretty nice, eh? Just going to go back into a little bit of this and make sure I don't lose the depth of that center. That looks better. There we go. I think that one's done, and I have 2 minutes left. So that wasn't too bad for a 20-minute attempt at a rose. I'm going to stop my timer. So that was actually an 18-minute rose. So there's your first one. And I will clean up my palette, and we will try a 15-minute rose, which is going to be even more challenging. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a like and a subscribe, and stay tuned to my channel as I'll be posting a lot more. Also, be sure you check out my website, www.rondaleannestock.com, where I have lots of videos and pictures, and I have reference photos. I've got my artwork on there and book recommendations, all kinds of things like that. So please check that out and give it a look over. And we will see you on the next video.